Hello, my sweet creative friend. I'm so glad that our paths have crossed today. I wanted to share some thoughts kind of tagging on to the last video in which we discussed the new year and the thoughts and emotions that we validate in terms of our creativity, what we spend time thinking about, whether it's empowering our creative journey forward or whether it's kind of making us take 3 steps back, and how we can use our mental landscape to actually have extremely wonderful, enjoyable, and successful, whatever that means to you, creative careers, creative paths, creative journeys. Today I wanted to delve into kind of going off of that idea, specifically addressing fears, because that was one that many of you talked about in the comment section, and it's something that my sister and I hear a lot about. We get lots of emails from many of you and messages about how sometimes you feel fearful about whether or not you'll ever be able to be a successful author, or you feel like an imposter syndrome sets in. How can we take these fears that come to us as writers? How can we deal with them in such a way that we can actually get past that hurdle, eradicate them from our lives, allow that fear to go? I believe that we can, even though sometimes it feels difficult, it can feel overwhelming. Let's take it one step at a time. So, this is what really empowered me when I was thinking about fear recently. And I've thought about this many times in the past. When we're experiencing a fearful thought, we're often so close to it, we're so involved with it, that it's hard for us to think of anything else. This fear we're having is almost never usually about something that could be an immediate danger to us. It's most likely, more likely than not, a dark fantasy of something that we're hoping will never happen, but we're sort of running through our mind these worst case scenarios. So in case of a creative writer, never being able to get your work published, never being able to have a successful author career, not being able to make a living off of your writing, your first book doing really badly, not being able to overcome writer's block, you name it. This is the fear, and we're imagining this scenario playing out in our mind. We're like an actor in a movie, and we're watching ourselves sort of fumble and fail in our minds, playing this in our minds maybe before we go to sleep at night, thinking about how terrified we are of this potential outcome. And that can seem scary, but let me ask you this. If someone were to show you a piece of footage, let's say I pulled up a piece of footage on my computer, and it was a piece of footage of you doing something completely outlandish that you've never done in your life. And this was never something you did. You were never in this place. You never did these things. But yet here was this piece of footage. What would you say to me? Would you say, oh, wow, well, thank you for informing me that, that's the truth about me. Wow, I didn't realize that I did those things. No, you would say, that's made up. That's fake. That's a scam. It's not true. I never did that. That is not real. It's a lie. It's not true. It's a fabrication. How is that any different than the false movies that we create in our own minds of ourselves failing, not being able to live a fulfilling life as an author or a creative artist of any kind? Those are also lies. So let's stop competing with our fear. It's not about how can we better arm ourselves to fight off our fear. It's how can we disarm our fear altogether by simply realizing that it's a lie. All of our fears are a lie. They're not true. And we're not talking here about instinctual fear, which I wouldn't even categorize as fear, such as the instinct to not step off of a cliff or in front of a moving car because we know that a negative consequence will follow that action. That's not so much fear as it is an instinct. These thoughts we have in our mind are not instincts telling us to avoid something for our own benefit. In fact, most of the time, it's hindering us from stepping out of our comfort zone and into the unknown for fear that this negative outcome that we've played over and over again in our minds will come to pass. Now you might say, well, Kate, I've had negative outcomes happen already in my writing career. I've had things that have let me down, things that have disappointed me, and I'm afraid of those things happening again. Even so, the repeat of those things has not happened. The replication of that disappointing event is just an imagining in our minds. There's no reason why it should repeat. You see what I'm saying? So many of our fears are about things that don't exist, will never happen. But yet these lies, these fabrications in our minds, these false images of ourselves living out realities that will never be, keep us nailed to the floor, petrified, scared of moving forward into most likely what could be something incredible. So it's not so much about how do we fight back against fear. How do we respond to fear? Should we be responding at all to something that is a lie? Something that is not true? Something that is in fact false? Or shouldn't we just realize, whoa, let's wake up and realize that that fear is a lie. This idea that I'll never be able to write again because I feel writer's block right now. I'll never be able to have a successful writing career, and I'll never be able to have the budget to do the things I want to do with my book. I'll never be able to figure out how to publish a book or an audio book or do the marketing. All of that is you imagining this incapable version of yourself, which is actually not true. That's actually not who you are. Who you are is someone who is able to take a step forward into the unknown. You are someone who is able to figure out all those things as you go. You don't have to figure them all out right now, but you are someone who can take that first step. And the exciting news is that is all you ever need to be. From whatever point, like, let me say that again. All you ever need to be is someone who can take the very next step, whatever that is. And then when you get to that step, you have to just be someone who can take the next step. Fear wants to keep us exactly where we are. And we're the ones who give fear the reins. We're the ones who hand the reins over to fear. But if we were to slow down and realize, you know what? This anxiety I feel inside myself is for something that has not happened and most likely never will. So therefore, this movie that I keep playing in my mind of something that hasn't happened is a lie. That hasn't happened. So if it's a lie, we don't have to live by it. That's the great thing about discovering that something is lies. We don't have to live by it. We have to live by truth. And as storytellers especially, we are truth bearers. Everything we write should in some way be reflecting a greater truth, right? That's what taps into people's hearts. That's what gets them excited about a story, is when they feel something true. Something that touches something inside of them. And it rings true, and they see themselves in that story. Isn't that what we love? Think of like a main character that you're absolutely in love with. Oh, I love that main character. It's because we find some piece of ourselves in them, right? Our stories are about reflecting truth. So the number one thing we have to do as authors for ourselves, so that we can then pass this truth on to others, is we need to not be believing lies, allowing lies, the lie of fear, to keep us petrified like a statue standing still in one place, unable to move forward. That's why it's a creative path. It's going forward. It's moving forward all the time. And when we experience fear, the more we can just come back and remind ourselves, okay, that hasn't happened. And so it is a lie, and I will not allow myself to be controlled and maneuvered by a lie, a fabrication that has just become a habit. That's all it is a habit. It's just noticing, oh, okay, there's that anxiety, there's that fear. I'm tending to that anxiety, I'm tending to that fear by stopping and breathing and letting it go. Let it go. Don't hold on to it. And don't be disappointed in yourself for being fearful. We all feel that. We all feel that. The point is not holding on to it and making it your own and allowing it to control you. Let this liberate you, my friend. Let this little practice of simply acknowledging, oh, that is a lie. That is fear. Fear is a lie. It is the opposite of love. It is the opposite of truth. And so I'm going to just reel myself back in. I'm going to come on back home to this place of love, to this inner stillness inside myself that says, I can do this because I've been given this gift as a divine creator. And I'm creating this thing. I'm passionate about this thing for a reason. And all I have to be is someone who can take the very next step. I don't have to think about the big picture or what's 10 steps down the road and feel overwhelmed by it. I can just focus on this next step right in front of me. And I can live my life in the light of truth. So that's the thought I wanted to pass along to you today. It's really been swimming around in my thoughts for the past few days, I would say. It's really gotten me thinking about how the relationship we have with our thoughts and how it affects everything we do, and specifically how it affects our writing, how it affects our creativity. So comment below and tell me what you think. How do you handle those little fears and anxieties? Maybe they're not little. Maybe they seem really overwhelming. Maybe you're in a place right now where you feel really distressed over some of these things. And I want to let you know that we are all in this together. You are not alone. We are here together in this sacred space. And we are going to be okay. We are going to be okay. Fundamentally, right now, we are okay, and we are going to be okay. You can do this. I am cheering you on. Tell me how you're doing in your writing journey. Do you have any cool writing goals this year? And how are you tending to your creativity, mind, body, and spirit? If you are looking for some ways to bring some of this positivity, these positive habits that help to foster your creative growth into your life, I would love to invite you to check out my Wellness for Writers course. All of the proceeds from that course literally help me continue to be here doing what I do. If you want to check it out, the link is below. It includes yoga, meditations, motivational talks, recipes, all the things that I do, all these healthy habits that help me to create in the best way possible, in a way that feels truly fulfilling to me. I would love to share that course with you. I also have a free meditation course for authors below, and you can check that out if you feel drawn to do that. You can also find my Patreon and my Etsy shop linked below as well. Otherwise, it always means the world when you subscribe, because I would love to know that you're here in the community. I wish you so much joy in your creative journey, my friend. I hope this video could serve you in a positive way, and I will see you in the next one. Namaste.